Hello there, Internet. Mogwai here, and I got another video for you guys today. And today we're going to showcase some Wet Gruul, aka Timur Midrange, which is a deck that I built a couple of days ago. And not the deck that I'm going to be bringing for the Mythic Championship qualifier, but a very interesting deck list that I do want to delve into more in the future. Because I think it's very interesting and it has a very powerful shell with the Nisa Who Shakes the World Hydroid Crassus combination. So the reasoning why I'm not bringing this deck list to the tournament is because there have been several Golgari land destruction decks running around lately from the MPL. People call it Japanese Golgari, which is a deck list that I will showcase off in this channel soon as well, because it's a really cool one that runs 4 Field of Ruins and 4 Assassin's Trophy to punish tricolor decks. And this deck is basically a Gruul deck with a blue splash for Hydroid Crassus. Therefore, it is vulnerable, very, very vulnerable to that strategy. And I think it could hit us really hard, basically. So I feel like it's a bit of a gamble. And there's another deck that I've been really fond of, and it will be tomorrow's video. And that will be most likely 99% the deck that I will be competing with in the qualifier this Saturday, which I will be streaming it, by the way. It starts at 3 p.m. Central European Time, 1 p.m. UTC, I believe 6 a.m. Pacific Time. I will be streaming with a 10-minute delay, and I will be competing in the Mythic Championship qualifier. So, you know, if you want to hop on by and root for your fake Brazilian boy, then you're welcome to do so. And yeah, let's talk about this deck, though. Let's talk about Wet Gruul. Wet Gruul is a product of a dream, and that is to take the power, the speed, and the threat of Gruul and combine it with the card draw and late game potential of Hydroid Crassus. Because one of the weaknesses Gruul has in general is that it runs out of steam and has a busy time, making it past the top deck, wars, because you don't really have many cards that are gonna get you drawing and back into the game, right? So the idea was to incorporate Hydroid Crassus as a splash of blue, pretty much kind of like Sultai Midrange does, with the Golgari core and Hydroid Crassus and maybe a Hashi's Taker here and there on the side into it. It's the same idea, and the reasoning behind it is because I think Nisa is a very powerful planeswalker, one of the most powerful, honestly, and extremely threatening. You don't really need to combine her with Hydroid Crassus. Like, Nisa on her own just enables you to apply tremendous pressure because you're getting a new 3/3 haste unit every turn, and obviously you're tapping for so much mana, right? So she is incredibly threatening, especially if we manage to ramp into her, which is what we're trying to do with 4 Land of our Elves and 3 Paradise Druid. But on top of that, in conjunction with Hydroid Crassus, she's incredibly scary. Nisa with Hydroid Crassus is incredibly powerful because your forests tap for an extra green mana, which means that you can cast huge Testis Necks here and just draw a shitload of cards and overwhelm your opponent with massive flyers that can just end the game soon. Like, if they're not answered, they will kill your opponent. If they are, hey, you refilled your hand anyway. So that is the idea with this component. The rest of the deck is what I'm confident is like a very powerful, early game shell, and that is the Gruul shell. And spoilers, I'm bringing a Gruul deck to the Mythic Championship qualifier. Why am I bringing a Gruul deck? Because I think Land of our Elves into turn 2 Gruul Spellbreaker, Domri, or Legion Warboss is incredibly powerful. I also think that haste effects in general are very strong and one of the best ways to answer planeswalkers, and I wanted to bring a red focused deck that could outmuscle the likes of mono red aggro, which is why, as you can see, we are running Ripjaw Raptor in the main deck, because I'm a little bit of a fanboy with this card. I think realistically speaking, it would be better to have Ripjaw in the sideboard because there are certain matchups in which he's not really that good. But I like him, and I wanted to showcase him in the main deck in this particular build, even though in the Gruul deck he is sitting in the bench. Really good card against red in general. Why? Because, if you are experienced in Magic the Gathering, you understand at this point the limitations each color has, right? Red is all about dealing damage. Blue has a lot of card drawing counter spells. Green is all about those big, thick creatures and mana ramp. Black is all about the discard and the removal, while white has got all those enchantments and Stormy buffing tactics and stuff. I say this because if you acknowledge and understand how every color function, you also understand their limitations. And red has a very big limitation, and that is the fact that they are pretty much limited to dealing damage. Therefore, red does not handle big creatures well. And because their only way of dealing with things is through direct damage, Ripjaw Raptor thrives against them. Why? Because for 4 mana, we have a 4/5 body. 4 is a very good strength stat to start, damaging our opponents. And 5 as a toughness is extremely key because this bad boy survives Lava Coil. No matter what your opponent does, unless they sideboard in a fight with fire, they will always have to spend, at the very least, 2 different resources of damage onto Ripjaw Raptor to eliminate him, which makes it so that you draw 2 cards. So just so you understand, this guy, if that happens, your opponent spends 2 resources on him and you draw 2 cards, that is a +4 card advantage in your favor. And if they don't deal with them, well, you got a nasty blocker that they can't really bypass. Runaway Steamkin caps at 4. So that way you will always be able to train to Steamkin and you will always prevail. This bad boy is just absolutely nasty. It's so powerful and really strong as mono red. If you reach turn 4 and you play a Ripjaw Raptor, they're shitting a brick. And it's really, really nice because, mono red is a very threatening deck and definitely going to be a contender for one of the top decks in the tournament. Therefore, I really believe, and tournament aside, the metagame, the ladder, like everybody, every now and then you run into a mono red player. Even if you're playing best of 1 and you're playing green, try adding this bad boy in. Like when you run into a mono red aggro deck and you're playing Ripjaw Raptor, you're gonna feel pretty happy when he goes down, believe me. So we have 4 Rekindling Phoenix on top of that, even though I am changing my opinion on this card, and you'll see in tomorrow's video in the Gruul deck, surprise, there's no Rekindling Phoenix, and I'll explain tomorrow why. I'm going to focus more on this deck today. Like I said, we are focusing a lot on ramp. We got Lava Coils and Lightning Strikes, 2 of each, alongside 2 Thorn Lieutenant, which is one of my favorite 2-drops right now because it is really good against the Fairy, for example. It's really good against mono red because if they zap it, then you leave a 1/1 blocker behind that can trade with a Fanatical Firebrand, for example. But it also is good against the Fairy Time Raveler decks because if they want to bounce this back with the Fairy, you're going to leave a 1/1 token that's going to finish off the Fairy the following turn. On top of that, Thorn Lieutenant is not a terrible top deck, nor a bad card in the late game because of the fact that you can pay 6 mana to boost him up to 6, 7, or potentially even more if you have like 12, right? It's an expensive ability to proc, but in a dragged out game, if you got the mana to spare, Thorn Lieutenant is your best friend. And that is the main deck right there. We got 1 Shivan Fire, 2 Direfleet Daredevils, 2 Lava Coils, 1 Lightning Strike, 2 Crawl Harpooners, 2 Fire Cannonades for Mono White Weenies, 2 Thrashing Brontodons, an extra Ripjaw Raptor because I am biased, I love this thing, and 2 Bane Fires. The reasoning why we have 2 Bane Fires is to shut down or kill off Command the Dreadhorde Planeswalker decks because they love playing Command the Dreadhorde, taking a hell of a lot of damage, and as long as we have Lightning Strikes and Lava Coils to prevent Wall Growth Walkers from coming back or eliminate them at the right time so that they can gain health, we can make it so that they have to pay a lot of life to get, their board structure going, and we can finish them off potentially with Banefire. You'll be shocked as how frequently this card can win you the game in that matchup. And the beautiful thing about it is that it's also good against mono red because it enables you to have a source of removal versus Runaway Steamkin. On a curve, you can deal with pretty much anything, as long as you pay enough mana. It's not really as efficient as a Lightning Strike or a Lava Coil, but it does get the job done, which is why I like it a lot as a 2 of in the sideboard flexible card, and as always, very solid as a finisher versus control. 2 extra Thrashing Brontodons to enable us to have a good, powerful blocker versus red, while also having enchantment removal for Nexus decks. 2 Crawl Harpooners for the mono blue matchup mainly, though Esper is also to consider as they can trade with Thief of Sanities. A bunch of removal. Direfleet Daredevil comes in many different matchups. I've explained this card multiple times. It's just fantastic. It's almost always good, honestly. And that is basically the sideboard right there. Fun deck to play. Like I said, the concept is to go at him quick, hit him hard, ramp, get Nissa in there, and when we run out of steam, if we do, we got Big Boy Snake there to just refill our hand, and that is wet Gruul for you. So hope you enjoyed this extensive deck. I kind of rambled on it for a little bit again. I got the last couple of games that I had in the stream in which I featured this deck, and I hope you guys. That kind of my words. I hope you guys enjoy the games. I hope you guys have a soul day. Leave a like if you want. It helps out the channel. Thank you for constantly supporting my content, and I will see you tomorrow with more. That's more like it. Okay, so we're facing mono red, which means we have several options here. We could go Paradise Druid. If we go Domri, it's just to fight these two, and there's like no point. If we go, we could ramp into Gruul Spellbreaker, but considering, I'm gonna play this. I'm not gonna trade into this.
Is my bread and butter.
We could get Chain Whirlered, but I'm banking on him not having it.
Oh, look at you. I'll be back after I've licked my wounds. You'll see.
I can smoke too. No Chain Whirler, please.
Witness the ties that bind us all. Behold, nature's true power.
I'm gonna keep this goblin blocker in the back.
Be wary of the ground you walk on.
No need to attack with my lands, because they'll just trade into these two.
Harness the elements.
I don't think that's enough, buddy.
Let's light it up.
You're dead. Got him! Alright, anti-mono red sideboard. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 1 Ripjaw Raptor, 2 Thrashing Brontodons, 2 Fiery Cannonades, 1 Lightning Strike, 2 Lava Coils, 2 Darkfleet Daredevil, 1 Shoe and Fire, and 2 Bane Fires. Elves out. Druids out. Domri to 1. Nisa 1 less. Legion War Bosses out as well. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. It's a little bit land heavy, but we have made our curve bigger, so this guarantees that anything that I draw into, I'll be able to play this game. And I have early game removal with Lava Coil. It's very important. Being able to answer Runaway Steamkin is muy importante. We're going to drop Spellbreaker. That means our Direfleet Daredevil here. Two for one trade. I'll take it. Hopefully we don't see bird. No bird, no bird, no bird. No bird.
Together, we will prevail. The land shall conquer you.
God, I love Nisa. Nisa senpai. You ain't got shit, brother.
The land fights for us.
Can I get me some easies in the chat, please? Nice. No Sarkin though? No, we're playing Nisa because we're playing a Timur. We're playing a Timur variant because of Hydroid Crassus. Can you update the deck list? Yeah. Still not sure about the sideboard, but I kind of like it, you know? Like, the two Banefires... The two Banefires go a lot... Like, they're very flexible. They're good against mono red to remove shit, but they're also good against the Commanded Red Horde deck. I like the Brontodons. I like the extra Ripjaw Raptor for that matchup. Are we bringing this deck to the qualifier? I've yet to make my decision on that, honestly. I really like it, though. I'll share it. Is there really no other blue cards that are worth putting in? The thing is, I don't want to put all that strain on blue, you know? Like, I'm only running 8 sources of blue in the deck. I don't think there's, like, I don't even need to run, like, stuff like Negate or anything like that. Like, because for the Commanded Red Horde matchup, I'd rather just play Banefire. Have triple Lightning Strike and then Banefire to, like, surprise kill them. Because the idea is that if I can always get rid of the Wall Growth Walkers... Alright, we'll keep. I don't want to flood though, so I'm going to drop that land to the bottom, since I do have a Paradise Druid. This Paradise Druid pretty much guarantees me a turn 3 Phoenix. Bus 49. Okay, it's a Commanded Dread Horde deck list. We gotta apply pressure though. As long as she's still around, I don't care about her loyalty.
I look forward to seeing you running away.
Behold, nature's true power.
When I'm finished here, there'll be nothing left but dust.
Smacking them down. Smacking them down. Smacking them fools down, baby. Alright, let's go with this. Let's take out the Ripjaw Raptors, correct? They get bounced and shit. It's not great. Nisa is fantastic, though, as we just saw. The important thing here, we gotta preserve all of our ramp. The important thing is to have these resources to take him down. I think Crassus can be dropped down 1. Maybe not, though. I think Phoenix can actually be dropped down 1. Though Phoenix is the major enabler. I'm gonna drop down 1 Legion War Boss. Use Dire Fleet to exalt command. That seems a bit too specific. I'll drop down 1 Damri. Maybe 1 Nisa. No. Because Nisa with Banefire is kind of ridiculous. Let's you drop 1 Phoenix, because they tend to bounce them back. So I don't want to. I want to draw Phoenix, but I don't want to overdraw them. Nisa with Banefire is also just crazy. I'm gonna keep it. It's a bit land heavy, but it's got turn 1 elf. Into potentially turn 3 bird. We're gonna keep this lightning strike unless we find a good target for it. Sure. There's our blue source of mana. Fantastic. Let's get bird in there. Oh, no hostage taker. Interesting. Well, that's another thing I want to keep my lightning strike for. Could have a cast down. There's our Banefire. Go for the Dread Horde. Go for the Dread Horde. Please go for the Dread Horde. Go for it. Oh my god, go for it. Oh! We're close. Just play defensive and smack him with a Banefire. Come on, baby. Five, 6, 7, 8. Clean.